Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report Practice Edition. Last video, Celtics All Access, we provide a injury update. Jaylen Brown, Warriors as well, practicing in Golden State. You can go check that out. I want to talk about the rumors circulating entering trade deadline season. It's been quiet on the Celtics front. So the rumor that coming from the Athletic, Shams Charania reporting that they're interested and still in the mix on Jakob Poetl came as a bit of a surprise. Robert Williams back in the lineup, Al Horford playing well, available often this season, and Luke Kornet providing some appropriate depth behind those two. Do you need a $9 million center who's going to cost a first-round pick? Potentially as many as two, given that the Derek White deal cost the Celtics that much. Spurs don't trade often. The White deal came as a surprise to me just about a year ago at the deadline. So setting the table for that deadline season, Raptors, Celtics interest in Poeltl reported once again. I don't see it. From what I've heard, and going back to October, November when this first got reported, this feels like it could be old news to me in terms of what the Celtics were looking at early this season. I know there was some interest there in terms of being able to go out and get him as some insurance for Robert Williams to minimize the load on Horford. And this is just me, an underrated aspect to adding a guy like Poeltl is it would give you some leverage against Grant Williams. If Grant Williams leaves this offseason or fetches an offer that goes way above what the Celtics want to pay to keep him in their front court into the future, acquiring Poeltl's bird rights would allow them to pay, I don't know, it's somewhere between 10 and 20 million, the same as Grant, long term, to have another center option in there. Poeltl just 24, good roller, good offensive center who has size that can work defensively within some of their drop schemes. He'd be a great addition, big rebounder on this team that's already ranking #1 in rebounding since they got healthy. But do you need him? The salary, $9 million, would require you to trade Danilo Gallinari, Peyton Pritchard, and on that Gallinari point, I've seen it reported that Gallinari can't be traded back to the Spurs. Technically, he can. I don't know what the league would rule on that. I haven't heard from their perspective what that deal would entail. I don't think there's any sort of cap circumvention going on there that would make them step in. Gallinari got traded from the Hawks to the Spurs in the offseason of the DeJounte Murray trade, so he's ineligible to go back to the Hawks for a year. He could be traded back to the Spurs since they waived him. It's not like the Spurs traded him to Boston. So Gallinari is trade eligible now, about $6 million. Throwing Pritchard there, that's another $2-3 million. So you're matching more or less the $8-9 million that Poeltl makes. Spurs with some cap space, or the Celtics rather, taking back a little bit extra money in that case. Maybe throw a Jackson or something in, but they do have an extra roster spot right now. No need to dump contracts into a deal like that. It's the picks. Celtics don't own their 23 because of the Brogdon trade, which means you can't trade your 24. Going out to 2025, 2026, 2027, risky for this team. So I wonder what they're going to do here. I don't picture a deal like that coming together. I'm sure there'll be some buyout options on the market, but it would be a creative way to create some Grant leverage into the offseason, as well as insurance on the super important playoff run against Rob injury, Al Horford picking up any ailments there. You could play smaller. You can move Grant to the 5 in some cases, but they haven't done that often this year. In fact, they've tried to make size, going with some double big lineups, trying out Luke and Al over recent games, more their identity. And they've done a good job with that, playing the second best defense since the beginning of December. So do I picture a Poeltl deal happening? I do not. Wouldn't rule it out though. The interest has been there going back to the fall, and we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks here. Celtics not in a position of urgency, needing to make anything happen. They're the best team in the NBA, 4.5 game cushion on the 1 seed. And this looks to me like the Spurs drumming up some interest on Poeltl ahead of deadline time. Of course, the Raptors don't make a ton of sense right now the way they've been playing either. So I'm sure there'll be some reaction out of there in terms of what this deal means for them. For the Celtics, wouldn't expect anything yet, but Thursday, that $6.9 million trade exception does expire from the Juancho Hernan-Gomez trade just about a year ago. They do have a $5.9 million trade exception as well. Sure, they'll continue to explore moving a guy into their open roster spot in those spots as well. This has been the Garden Report. Bobby Manning. Check out HelloFresh, hellofresh.com/garden21. Going to get you 21 free meals as well as free shipping when you go over there. Rocketmoney.com/garden is going to get you their app that could potentially save you hundreds on unused subscriptions and allow you to cancel them right in the app. And Athletic Greens, athleticgreens.com/garden is going to get you 5 free travel packs as well as a year's supply of their great powder that has vitamins, minerals, adaptogens, probiotics, and more. It's been the Garden Report. You can tune in on CLNS Media, Celtics All Access, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for Celtics Warriors. See you then.